Right now, Life for Business, Raphael Joseph. Gerardo, what's up, man? Yeah, it's a good song. Howard Cooper, what's up? Kevin Morris. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think, my stock for today was really Netflix. We saw after hours yesterday, again, whether it was trade concerns or the fact that, again, we were just dealing with a market. Let me put up the SPY that was, be all honest, kind of just overbought, right, on the hourly in particular. If you look at the hourly charts, going into close yesterday, we had just gotten overbought. So that was a great area for you guys to short. Many of you guys were already short. In fact, we had a guy post up almost $2,000 gains today on that short. That was textbook short on the SPY. So we saw again we had that Trump news in regards to the tariffs. Again, it's not a big deal because even though he's putting up these 50 billion is so small. 50 billion is so small in comparison to, the value of trade between US and China. So small. So again, these tariffs need to be looked at a lot differently. I mean, we were really talking about pennies here. We're really talking about pennies here. And, you shouldn't let tariff news distract you from the fact that we are approaching new highs in the market. The fact of the matter is, yes, the deficit and things like that. And I was a bear for a long time. I was a bear for a really long time, but then I after taking some time off and really looking at these balance sheets, and when you're talking about some of these, big companies, I mean, billion-dollar valuations, their 10Ks are like 200 pages. You see how much money that they're sitting on. I mean, these companies are healthy, my man. They're very healthy. They got shitloads of cash. They don't know what to do with their money. They're buying back stock, not because they necessarily want to. They don't have anything to do with the money. Right? They don't have anything else to do with the money. So they're buying back stock because it helps executives who are on the board, who many times have what's the word for it? Contracts with their companies where, depending on the stock price of the company, they get certain bonuses. So they have an incentive to do whatever is possible to increase the value of the company's stock. And buybacks is one of the best ways to do that. What's going on, Jeff, there? Boo Blair J, what's up? Yes, indeed. Been a while. Call me up, Jay, if you got a stock we should be taking a look at. Call me up if you got a stock we should be taking a look at. But again, to start up the show, Netflix. I'm just so excited. I'm always been excited about the stock. Again, any company with a weekly chart that looks like that, with a monthly chart that looks like this, a gap down open, you got to buy that. You got to buy that. And you got to buy it because the long-term holders are going to see that that's an opportunity to get some cheap shares. So you're going to have the support to bring you back higher. And we saw it today, in particular on the 5-minute chart. You see we had that gap down open on Netflix. And it got bought up quick. They didn't waste any time to help you, into profitability buying Netflix off the lows. Again, a company that doesn't have any exposure to China, doesn't have any exposure to whatever the hell is going out there. Great opportunity for you to buy and hold. Moving into earnings on Monday of next week, I expect them to blow it out the water. Netflix is spending billions of dollars in new movies and whatnot, moving into these local movie centers wherever in the world they are, picking up local talent, working with their big name stars. So Netflix, things are only going to get better for Netflix. In fact, if you go to marketbeat.com right now, you got guys putting on. And by the way, this is why I want you to go into earnings with Netflix, because after the number comes out, unlike so many other companies that are going to, shit on their guidance for the rest of the year, Netflix guidance should be even better. than expected. And then you're going to have adjustments to what analysts believe that, the future price of the company is going to be, going to be worth. So those adjustments are going to help you as well. All right. Broadcom bought out CA. Yep, that was a big deal. That was a big deal. Speaking of telecommunications, I'm really excited about the presence of 5G. And one great article I read this morning. I always every time in the morning I hit up Seeking Alpha. A lot of people don't like Seeking Alpha because it's got a shady past with penny stocks, but for the most part, things have gotten better over there at Seeking Alpha. And one article in particular that caught my eye. I did a quick screenshot. Let me find it here. On Seeking Alpha. One moment here. And okay, there it is. Nokia, a leader in the sprint to 5G. Now, the article does a really good job of talking about, giving you a little bit of a background on, Nokia as a company. For those of you guys, who are too young to remember, back in 2005, early 2000s, nothing could stop Nokia. In fact, Nokia, double digit ownership of the cell phone space. I mean, your first cell phone more than likely was a Nokia. Anybody who's over 30 years old, hell, over 25 years old, your first cell phone, or at least owned at one time a Nokia phone. Obviously, they got involved with Microsoft in a contract that got them locked into a horrible OS, that Microsoft Windows OS phone system. That just, Android, which was a Google product. Hey, if you make cell phones, you don't want to pay Microsoft, here's our software, Android. They got killed. Nokia got killed. And they've been left in the dust ever since. And they're making the move now to make sure that they, kind of sort of reassert themselves within the space. Now, if you look at Nokia, obviously they're a long ways away from what they used to be. The information that this gentleman goes through in the article is one for you to just, look at and say, hey, maybe I should take a look at Nokia and see, maybe is this something for you guys who are willing to sit and hold on something? Maybe this is something that might, interest me. And when I look at the monthly chart, and that's why I wanted to bring this to you, it looks pretty healthy. All right. Very little downside risk on Nokia. Yeah, obviously you got some great support here in the 5s. All right. And maybe a month or two of this, we can see something. Obviously, when we talk about the race to 5G, we're still early. We're still pretty early, but, maybe you might find something interesting here. So I wanted to put that out for you, and that's something for you to entertain yourself with. All right? Take a look at that. With that being said, I also shitted a lot on gold yesterday, and I just got proven right, man. Just got proven right. I don't know what's going on with gold. Gold for a long time was supposed to be, that thing that was supposed to protect, right? Protect value, where traders went to find security. And now, I mean, if anything, that's where you go to find losses. That's where you go to find losses in gold. JDST, and guys are killing it. If you look on Twitter, $JDST, guys are killing it going the other way on gold. I'm not a fan of those, those leveraged products. But, today, 7% today alone on that 3X leveraged product that is a bear on gold. Wonderful day for that play. Wonderful, wonderful day for that play. All right? And by the looks of it, looks like things could be getting better. Things could be getting better for guys who are in that play anyway. Oil and gas, yeah, oil and gas, slightly down today, slightly down today. But I'm not convinced yet. I'm not convinced yet. I know the president has been going back and forth with gas and that business. Last year in particular, we were really excited here on the show about Aramco possibly being a situation where they would go public. It didn't happen. That's on the back burner now. So I'm thinking to myself, like, there's really no incentive for lower gas prices right now. There's no incentive for that right now. Okay? No incentive at all for that. All right? And by the way, another stock we talked about yesterday, CRC, some of these small cap oil and gas stocks that have been just killing it. By the way, again, this stock gets hurt really easily. You saw the move today on that. This stock gets hurt really, really easy. It's going to be a great short one day. I don't know if it's just yet. It's going to be a great short one day, but I don't know if it's just yet. It's been riding that higher Keltner channel very much. And, when you have a day or two of declines in oil, it pays the price. But it's been a winner for several days, several weeks now, CRC. Another one of those stocks that makes, a very important part of IWM. IWM, another superstar lately that is its time over yet? I don't know, but just 2 days in a row, we've got to be conscious about that. But, again, a couple weeks ago as well, I thought IWM had probably seen its tail, and sure enough, we got saved. Small caps still doing really well. I still think small caps are going to pay the price eventually down the road as these higher, interest rates start cutting into the fact that, look, they're shrinking margins and them not being able to really deliver later in the year. But I still think it's early. All right. XRT is another one that I want to talk about today. XRT, this is an index that I want to call maybe the greatest short for 2019, but yet we're still not. It's still not showing up in the price, right? And here again, when I talk about how some of these indexes do a lot of disjustice, if that's the proper word to use, when they add in stocks like Amazon, and Amazon is an XRT, doesn't belong there at all. Doesn't belong there at all, but Amazon is an XRT. And, you got to admit, it plays a part in keeping it going. Otherwise, if we're talking about Macy's, JCPenney, and many of these other ones that have been closing stores, all right, losing a lot of money, XRT, we should be talking about a stock that's, barely over 20. But here we are at $49, and many of these .coms playing a big role in keeping that index up. So, still a great short. All right, in the future, but right now, just keep your eye on it for the guys who are short bias. All right. S617, we'll keep it going. Glad that you're interested in. I'll take a look at that. B-Box. Of course, you can give me a call, ladies and gentlemen. Let me turn on my Skype so I can get calls. You already know what the number is, 305-600-2896. That's 305-600-2896. Black Box Corp. I'm not familiar with this stock. Let me know what's going on here. Again, that's a really scary looking chart, my man. That's a really scary looking chart. So I'm guessing something came out here, and I just couldn't deal with this. I mean, this is just stressful. Just looking at it. What a stressful play. So give me a call and let me know what I'm not seeing that I should be in B-Box. All right? Yes, indeed. S617, you said you were emailing me not too long ago. We were talking about options. Okay. Hit me back up tonight. If you got something else to say, hit me back up tonight and we'll talk about it. All right? EPE. Good run on oil. EPE. Let's take a look at EPE. EPE Energy. Here's another one. 298. All right, so this is one of them. This is a very much a small cap, very much a small company. Um, if I'm not correct. All right, company's losing cash. All right, let's go a little bit of a higher time frame. Let's see the weekly. So obviously we're coming off some lows here in EPE. Boy, it would have been a great stock to buy at those lows, right? Great stock to buy at those lows. And this is kind of one of those plays too when you're looking at the weekly or these monthly charts and you're seeing, those lower highs or higher lows on the RSI, and you're saying like, hey, somebody's accumulating. And then once those candlesticks just start to confirm themselves, that's where you can jump in. All right, but of course, again, you got to be careful as, sometimes things can change. But always a good sign. And I'm using those Keltner channels because this is a really great indicator. I love Bollinger Bands too, and some people use this in conjunction with Bollinger Bands, but I love this because it doesn't necessarily change the size of the chart. All right? Yeah, I got Keltner and then just a basic moving average. I know a lot of guys use other things, but you're going to find whatever works best for you. All right? But as someone who's now switched over to iron condors, I stick mostly now in those higher time frames, and a decent moving average, 50, 100, 200, keeps me aligned. What's going on, Kenny Dutton? All right. WSHE. OTC. OTC, Kenny. All right. OTC play. See, I've been so used to large caps, I don't even have the volume on here anymore. But I'm looking at the volume, my man, and I'm only seeing 4,000 shares traded today. I don't have the bars on here, but I'm looking at what TradingView is telling me. You only traded about 4,000 shares today. And my man, I mean, looking at the daily chart, it's not where I want to be. 18% gain, but at the end of the day, I mean, on 4,000 shares, I mean, barely anybody's buying this. Kenny, so you gotta, call me up and tell me why I need to, put myself in a situation like this, very, very low volume, on a stock that's already really cheap. I mean, it's only 2 cents a share. Only 2 cents a share. What's going on, Ricardo Joseph? Yeah, guys, hit like on this video right now. Hit like on this video right now. BIOC, let's take a look at it. Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, guys are getting wiped out. And we're having one of the best bull markets of all time, of our lifetimes, right? And guys are getting wiped out because, I mean, over trading, going in too high, all right? Trading the worst stocks, Kenny goes into OTCs because he knows how to trade them. He's been talking about them for years. But newbies, in fact, I've deleted quite a few of my old videos trying to get people into those OTCs. I'm like, let me take that down. BIOC, nice day today, 115% gain. Am I reading that right? 115% gain today on that? Am I reading that right? Let's see the 5-minute. All right, looks like that. We had a nice run in the morning, and then all of a sudden, just before the close, I don't see what justified the move just before the close, though. I'm going to give you the monster hit, though.
Monster kill.
But let me know what happened just before the close. Something happened.
Supreme victory.
All right. It's like the algos just took over and just sent this one to the moon. But obviously this stock, just 5 million shares traded today. Oh, wow. Actually, that's the most in a long time for this stock. Its average is only 86,000. So something happened here today. In fact, let's go to the daily chart and go back and see we're well above even the Bollinger, really taking this rise. This was a losing stock for a long time. Obviously, guys, got caught flat-footed here, and obviously we got squeezed. on this one, and or is this a reverse split or what? I'm not seeing a reverse split. I think somebody bought this higher. T. James, you said you got in at 510. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. All right. Any Amazon traders in here? Any Amazon traders in here? Another impressive day for Amazon. Market pulling back, but not these stocks. They're going to continue to do their thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, we can just start Amazon $2,000. It's going to get there. I mean, the government, has talked a little bit about what Amazon's been doing, but for the most part, they could care less to stop Amazon, at least in the short term. And, they're just on a tear, man. This is a stock. You want to go back in time and buy one stock? This has got to be it. This has got to be it. I don't care if you're talking, you can go just 2009, man. You can go 2009, and you're talking about a stock that has returned well over 1,000%. Just going back to 2009. I think you're up already 100% for the year. Look at this chart. It looks like Bitcoin. It looks like Bitcoin. Here, this is the monthly. This is a monthly. And again, we're talking about these higher time frames when you're seeing those higher lows. All right, we're overbought on the monthly, so a correction should happen. But, again, when you're doing so well, generating, solid return. I don't know if they're profitable. That's a question I haven't been able to find an exact answer to. Is Amazon profitable or not? Can somebody answer that for me? Because I'll look it up and I say, I see different answers. Trading at 274 times earnings. You got to pay $274 for every $1 of earnings in Amazon. That's insane. That's insane. Very, very high PE ratio. Let's talk Tesla. Let's talk Tesla because I'm an optimist in Tesla. Are they going to get the truck done? Is the truck ever going to come out? New orders are coming in for the truck. Now, everybody's so worried about the Model 3. The Model 3, first it was 3,000. He can't do 3,000. Now he can't do 5,000. Why don't y'all just leave this man alone? Just leave this man alone. So many people want this man to lose. So many people want this man to lose. And, he's got a cocky attitude. He's not the most lovable man in the world, right? I've heard, you can go to marketbeat.com. I've heard, some of his calls, the earnings calls, and he's not the most friendly dude. He's not the most friendly dude. And I can understand some of these guys on Wall Street, like they just want to see this guy end up flat on his face. One, because they'd make a shitload of money if Tesla went to zero. That's a lot of money. We're talking about a $300 stock here. So if we see Tesla go down and get cut in half because they got to come out and raise cash, they got to come out and say, hey, they can't deliver on this, or they get a major lawsuit, class action suit. A lot of people are going to get rich. But I'm going to tell you this right now, a lot of people are going to get rich too if Tesla delivers and these shorts have to cover. All right? Kind of like what happened to Shake Shack a few weeks ago. All right? Totally two different companies, but I'm just saying, again, when guys just try to bet so much on failure and just get annihilated because you just, some of the bears can get a little bit too cynical, right? When you're betting on failure and then you lose, and it's painful. All right? Totally two different companies, but I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like when too many people bet on failure and it goes wrong. Antron, you said you prefer Ford on Tesla. Obviously, I mean, but I think you're talking about two different things here. You're talking about two different things here. Obviously, Ford should have been doing what Tesla's doing, 10 years ago. Let's be honest. They weren't doing it, though. They weren't doing it. When we're talking about battery, I mean, Toyota had the Prius, but for the most part, they weren't pushing it like that. They weren't pushing, battery-powered cars as nice vehicles. They weren't being pushed like that. Tesla creates a battery-powered car that's nice. You actually want to own it. And you don't come off like a tree hugger driving a Tesla. Nike, down day today on Nike. Still got a lot of time left on that option. If you looked at my Nike option video, I should have put out that Netflix video on chicken condors on how to generate income on Netflix during earnings. I'm gonna put that out there for NVIDIA, excuse me, this weekend. NKE Nike, again, I think you're still kind of expensive here on Nike. I still think you're going lower on the stock, because I just think you're overpriced. I mean, at the end of the day, again, you make shoes. Thank you, T. James. I appreciate you. But Nike's been killing it, man, and they've been doing really good. If you've been holding before earnings, continue to hold until you really see a pullback. But I would take some profits on the table right now, especially if you were holding, at 80, 81, and then you're seeing kind of your profits being taken here. Take that profit off the table, move into something else. But Nike, great stock. Great stock. Right? Some of the financials I want to talk about too. We didn't get to an opportunity to talk about. Everybody knows what happened to Wells Fargo. Everybody knows what happened to Wells Fargo and their situation. But man, financials have been really struggling. And I want to say this: in the age of Trump, I think we're going to see a lot more moving forward toward the end of the year, maybe even next year. We're going to see some of these banks start buying some of their smaller brethren. All right, we're going to see some consolidation in the space. When I think about financials in the future of the space, I think the bigger you are, the better you are. Right? People are moving everywhere. The day and age of the small town bank, I think it's going to go its wayside. It's going to go by the wayside. And we only see consolidation for the most part in times of trouble, right? 2008, 2009. If you remember, we had Bank One, we had LaSalle Bank, we had all these other banks out there that got swallowed up by the survivors. Or you got to go back as far as the late 1970s, right? During that financial crisis at that time. But for the most of the 70s, 80s, early 90s, the Democrats pretty much controlled both houses of government. And, they placed, Glass-Steagall and many of these other legislations that really prevented companies and banks from getting too big. So that's why we still have a lot of these small institutions out here, like your SunTrust of the world, like your BB&Ts of the world. SunTrust, I think it's STI. Yes, STI. Right? Your BB&Ts. These small regional banks, I think they're going to get swallowed up. And the time is right for them to start doing that while we have Donald Trump as president. I think this is really the only time they're going to be able to really get away with that. So I think that's something to pay attention to. Financials have really gotten beat up over the course of the last several weeks. They haven't participated for the most part in the rally. The XLF is virtually gone nowhere. But again, a man that many of us in here look up to, Warren Buffett, would say, hey, buy when no one else is buying. And XLF has got to be just one of those where you just got to, pay attention to. And now with what we've seen over the last couple of days, I'm just paying attention to it. That's all. I'm just paying attention to it. Today was pretty much a sideways day for the XLF, but I'm going to be paying attention for the next couple of days and seeing, is this something that's probably going to turn, start turning in a different direction. All right, start turning in a different direction. Here's the weekly chart. We're at some RSI lows here. All right, we're at some MACD lows here on the weekly as well. So looks like a pretty healthy area for us to get in. So pay attention to it. That's all I want. I just want to put it out there. Look at some of these financials. Some of them very, very liquid. Bank of America is another one, trading at some RSI lows. I think the MACD is about to turn here. Here's another one I think you could pay attention to that I saw this morning. Goldman Sachs. All right, Goldman Sachs underneath the Bollinger Band. This would be a really great, based on guys who, if you trade the Keltner indicator, this will be a great area for you to sell a, bull put spread, right? This is an opportunity for you to put in a bull put spread here on Goldman Sachs, selling that 220, that 220 put. Maybe we're going higher. Right? Set a nice stop and see what happens. Put a week, 2 weeks on it and see what could, transpire on this. But I like these stocks at these kind of levels because, again, you have very limited risk to the downside, and, they're really healthy here for an entry. All right? So just kind of want to put that out there, guys. Take a look at some of the financials. What else? Citigroup, I think, also looked pretty good. Let's see the Citigroup. Again, below the 50 RSI. We're looking like we're getting a MACD cross here soon. This is probably a solid entry for someone looking for a multiple week hold on some of the financials. All right. So I know I've been running my mouth on my stocks, but let me see what you guys are trading. Again, my number is 305-600-2896. 305-600-2896. I don't want to run my mouth on my tickers all day. Let me see what you guys are trading. All right. Let me see what you guys are trading. Let's take a look at it. And we'll talk about your stocks. All right. Tree looks really good too. LendingTree.com. Look at LendingTree. LendingTree looks really good. I got equity feed here on my other screen. I like LendingTree a lot. I'm not, again, these are, financials that are just getting really beat up. 7% day today. So, stocks already kind of making the turn. Stocks already kind of making a turn again. This is the weekly chart, right? This is the weekly chart. Obviously, on the daily, you might, even on the daily, you're seeing somewhat of a turnaround here. We'll see. But, that RSI, again, creeping above that 50. We want to see a break above that 50. And, of course, hold above 50 would be the greatest thing. All right? But that buy signal is coming. Here's LendingTree. All right. Just take a look at SCHD. SCHD Schwab Dividend Equity ETF. Okay. You're going to have to let me know about this. I'm not sure what's inside of this fund. You're going to have to let me know what's in this fund and why you like it so much. It's a dividend equity ETF. So obviously it's full of companies that are more than likely large cap companies that are very, well financially, situated and pay good dividends. And, that's kind of what you play. As you can see here, I can tell you right now, it follows the SPY very, very well. Follows the SPY very, very well. So I can no doubt that I'm sure you have some of the best of the Fortune 500 in that, just looking at the chart. I don't even have to go back and pull up SPX. All right. Let's take a look at it. All right. Let me get those channels on so we can see the chart better. CELZ. Creative Medical Technology Holdings. CELZ. I don't know too much about it. As you can see, it's an OTC stock. Again, be careful here. Just be careful. But again, you can trade these, using many of the simple tactics you use on any large cap. Are people buying? Are you seeing, lower or higher lows in the RSI. You got that breakthrough back there, and it looks like it's done very well since crossing at the beginning of June that 50 RSI level. Looks good. Congrats to you on that, man. Candace, you said you're shy? Come on. Nobody can see your face. A lot of people don't call my show because they're shy. And it's a real thing. Like, I get emails like, man, Sal, I watch your show, but I don't want to call in because I'm kind of shy. You're not the first person to say that. I'm surprised how many people say it for an internet show. You know, it's like shyness is a real thing. Hold on. Let me see if my girl here. Hey, did somebody call you for the pizza? It's taking a long time for this pizza, man. Sorry, guys. I just ordered some pizza, but nobody's called me about it. You might want to call them and see where it's at, because it's been damn near an hour. What else are we looking at here? All right, so financials is the big one. They're oversold, and I want to, I don't want to buy too high. Consumer staples is another one, but most of those companies are really boring. And they're very, very slow. The Kellogg's of the world and whatnot. And consumer staples, Kellogg's, Campbell's Soup, many of those companies, Yeah, pizza does sound good right now. I'm in the mood for pizza. Somebody sent me this coupon. What? I think it's PPZA. Now that I think Papa John's. And you can say whatever you want about its politics, but the stock has been doing horrible, and I think that's why. Yeah, what was that? Oh, hold on. She just showed me something. Papa John's. Hold on. Get the screen on. Papa John's. Did he really say that? Papa John's founder apologizes for using N-word on a conference call. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to order. Okay, I ordered the pizza already, but I'm going to call my credit card company and get a charge back on their ass. I can't believe that. And, of course, I would see it after I ordered the damn pizza. Oh, Lord. That's crazy, man. Okay, so, he's a white supremacist. Good Lord. Anyway, let's keep it moving because I'm going to get heated on that. For me, I got new listeners in here. Let me not revert. PYPL, PayPal. Still a fan of PayPal. We were looking at PayPal at $74. Look at where PayPal is now. We were talking PayPal around $74. Here's another stock we talked about. We had gotten really low on those on the Keltner channels. They said, look, at the end of the day, this is a great company, great business. If you're doing business online, whether you're a seller or a buyer, trust gets extended even further when you see that PayPal logo. When you're going through a purchase and you're going through PayPal, it's just a level of trust that just gets extended, buyer and seller. And PayPal is just the future of e-commerce when we're talking about, in the United States of America. And I think it's something that can be extended globally. I know they own some other international holdings, particularly I want to say in India. Obviously, India, another country with a huge amount of people and incredible growth right now. So PayPal is an amazing story that you need to be paying attention to. And this is another stock that, again, $100, $125 would not surprise me. In the future, it won't surprise me at all. I mean, we're looking at the PayPal monthly chart, very healthy here. It's had that pullback, but still holding very well. Here's the monthly chart, doing very well. Everybody talks about oversold, overbought, blah blah blah, but for the most part, these good companies with great products, great services, excellent balance sheets, You just got to buy and hold on some of these. Yeah, T. James, just go long on that, and just hold and wait. I mean, when you're talking about Amazon 5 years ago, you talk about these other companies that have done wonderful. PayPal is one that I can see 5 years from now, 10 years from now, is going to be doing really well. They're going to be positioned for success. They're going to be positioned for success. Absolutely. You know? 305 600 2896. 305 600 2896. 2896. All right. What's Domino's at? What's Domino's? Okay, DPZ. I forgot Domino's is DPZ. Okay, Domino's is doing well. Domino's is doing well. Even though I don't like the fact that they pay slave wages. But Domino's is doing well. Now they got the situation where, for the most part, if you go to national parks, certain campuses, especially in particular out in the middle of nowhere, you don't get pizza delivery services. They've started something where you can get that now. Very interesting. 928, you're on the air. Who am I speaking with?
Yo, what up, Sal? It's Kenny Dutton.
Hey, Kenny, what's up, man?
Man, nothing much. This market is so crazy, man. I found myself kind of moving towards the ETFs and the pennies because this market has just been so crazy, so unpredictable. What's up is down, and what's down is up. It's just kind of crazy. So I found it more lucrative for me, especially with the ETFs that pay dividends. I found it much more lucrative to go ahead and divest my money in those things, and then the pennies that I'm comfortable with trading. Okay. So I've kind of laid off.
Now, Kenny, what ETFs are you looking at right now?
I've recently bought a ridiculous amount of shares of the cannabis ETF. So one of them one of them that I'm looking at is EFTMG. I'm sorry, ETFMG.
ETFMG.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, MJ. MJ is the ticker for that one. I figured so.
Yeah. MJ.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I mean, that one's pretty sideways. I mean, are you happy with the way that's been going?
Well, what gave me some hope about it is when the marijuana stocks started to perform. Like, I'm heavy into the hemp, which is the pennies, of course. I've made a crazy amount of money with that. So I started seeing that making more money. So I was like, you know what? Let me jump on some of these now, and I'm willing to ride out, my position for the long haul, for the long-term gain. So I've been kind of just kind of doing that, and just pretty much anything like and also like even some of the like Oppenheimer funds. Okay. They've been killing it. You can just look up any of those like OSMBX. Yeah. But those are more so long-term holds. But I found that to be a lot more safer than trying to deal with some of the individual stocks. Like, I still have my favorite individual stocks like VMware.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. I mean, avoiding that single stock risk that comes with, a failed merger or a CEO doing something or, bad earnings, those kind of things or any just kind of random event that can affect individual companies. Getting yourself inside of an index and just kind of riding the range of a particular sector or, grouping, that could be the best thing, for safety in particular.
Yeah, so and that's pretty much what I've been doing because it's actually allowed me to kind of not look at the market like every single day. Like when I'm investing really like a lot of money in a particular stock, and you're having to watch it every day for any indication of you losing your ass. It's kind of been less stressful.
Right. Absolutely,
So, yeah.
absolutely. A lot easier on the conscience. Well, I appreciate you for the call, Kenny.
Hey, no problem, Sal.
Yes, sir. Kenny Dutton, long-time listener, long-time caller. I know this ain't his first time calling the show, so I appreciate you, Kenny, always. My thing with marijuana, and I forgot to mention this on yesterday's show, is that the low barrier to entry just bothers me. I'm cool with the fact that I want as many people as possible to be involved in the business of marijuana. I think in particular individuals who, may have never, had access to a legal way of being able to make money in medicinal drugs, but kind of have that self-taught knowledge. Some of you guys may know what I'm talking about. You have people in the community who just know about herbs and things like that, but they know a lot about cannabis and the certain different seeds and ailments that it can heal. That low barrier to entry that many states have offered to anybody with a couple $100,000, because that's pretty much what it takes to get started. I know some states it's even lower. It makes it not necessarily make sense from an investor standpoint in terms of a publicly traded company, right? If you've read any of Warren Buffett's books, he talks about his businesses were, making sure that they have a very pretty high barrier to entry. It's got to be a line of business where it's not necessarily easy for anybody just to jump into. And I just feel like marijuana is just kind of one of those things where anybody can really become a provider in the space. Anybody can be a retailer. Anybody can be a grower. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But as an investor, there's something wrong with that. 559, call me back. 559, call me back. It rang like one time. So call me back, 559. I'm here. All right. So I want to see these stocks go up, but at the same time, that low barrier to entry has got to be something you got to be concerned about. 559, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Sal? How you doing, bud?
Hey, what's going on? Who am I speaking with?
Rich Million.
Hey, Rich Bell. Yeah. You contacted me today on Twitter. I guess you had a stock for us to look at?
Yes, sir. Before I go over that, I remember you just mentioned, cannabis, how it's good for health and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would like to tell people is that if you buy a juicer on Amazon, I'm not selling a product, all right, and you juice 10 to 15 pounds of produce, apples, oranges, carrots, beets, a little bit of habanero, a little bit of capsaicin, ginger, it will heal your body with high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, cancer. I know people in person that had cancer and juicing saved their life. Chemo nearly killed them. I've been a nurse for 6+ years. I don't work as a nurse anymore because stocks pay well. But I just wanted to tell people, juicing fruits and vegetables, you'll never hear of someone, getting cancer from eating too many carrots and apples. Just a side note.
There it is. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, cool. I'm the guy you hung up on a couple of months back because I mentioned some OTC stocks, sir. First one I would like you to take a look at is AMMX. They're actually they're going to release their annual financials next month, and business is really good for them.
Oh, so they're not diluting anymore. AMMX.
Well, maybe back in the day, but I bought the company 6 or 7 months, and they have not been diluting. Now the stock, I would say, is consolidating. People took their profits. There's a lot of people just eating it up on the bid, and the stochastic has reset, and the RSI is also all the way on the bottom. And I can promise you, I got money in it, that the stock will be making the next leg up in the coming weeks for sure.
Okay.
Always good to buy in the
good.
good.
AMMX is a stock that I followed a while, and I just feel like this company has so much potential. I mean, the business they're in, it's one of those. It's again a high barrier to entry, requires a lot of capital. They do really well, right? It's a rental business for that industrial space, and they do really well. And I just didn't understand why it wasn't translating to the stock price, but it's good to see at least things are moving
I looked into it. Some guy had way too many shares. Like, he had way too many shares, and the CEO, in my opinion, just felt like this guy had too much control, and until that guy sold out or something. And I don't know. I know it sounds weird, but that's what happened. California is going to have a lot of construction happening because of in the next 10 years. Obviously, the freeway is being worked on. Maybe they'll do the wall, but also the Olympics are going to be coming to California. So something to keep an eye on. I think it's decent, you know. My main stock. This is my main stock. Now, this stock I've been holding for over 20 months. I've been buying shares throughout the year. I'm up 200% on it, and I have not sold a share. Now, I know it's going to sound crazy. You know, there's a saying, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. I say bulls make money, bears make money, pigs fly. And this is one of those stocks. The stock is INTK. It's bullish on the daily, the weekly, the monthly, and the yearly. 15-year downtrend, and the uptrend has started again. Accumulation is through the roof. I've been watching the L2. Market makers are trying to bring it down. When I called you, it was below 002, and I guess it was my first time calling, and I got hung up on because you thought I was pumping it or something.
Yeah.
But this stock's legit, man. And my average is 0025. I'm going to hold shares for a year plus on this stock. I'm going to get those long-term capital gains. And just a side note, completely a side note, guys, if you want to pay 0% on your capital gains, I'm talking about if you're day trading, there's 3 things you have to do. 1, you have to give up your U.S. citizenship. 2, you cannot spend more than 6 months in the United States. 3, you must not have a green card. And if you live in another country that doesn't have capital gains, or if they don't tax you if you make money out of the country, you pay 0% capital gains, just to let you guys know.
So you live in you sound Canadian. Are you Canadian?
No, I get that a lot.
Okay,
I'm from
you
California.
sound Canadian. Now, are you living outside the country right now? Speaking to me?
No, sir. I plan on it. I plan on it next year. Taxes are going to be too high, you know.
Okay. All right. So let's get to INTK real quick. What's the investment proposition here moving forward? What are they doing that a year hold would make sense?
Well, so let me just tell you about the fundamentals of the company, the product itself. The product itself basically is a liquid product that you apply on as a paint, exterior, interior on metal inside a home. So there's 4 things. One of their main products, ETX H2O, does is 1, it prevents corrosion. It's also creates insulation. So you literally spray this thing and it creates insulation, prevents corrosion, and saves energy. So, for example, a lot of the big buildings in the East Coast have boilers to heat their very large towers, and oil tankers, I believe they're called something. My terminology may not be right. But anyways, there's hot oil going through those tankers, and there's pipes going out through the building to cool the rooms. Heat the rooms. So what this product does is you spray it on the tank, and you have to spray it 3 to 5 times, or you can spray it more, 5 different layers. And what happens is it literally helps retain the heat within the tank. So say before the product is applied, if an employee touches the tank, it's going to burn their hand. They're going to get an injury because there's a lot of energy being lost. After this product is applied, it's literally cool to the touch. There's videos of it. Today, the company, after such a long time, did a tweet about them shipping products. They also tweeted about sending in a 15C211 form that has to do with it's basically the company has not, let me tell you guys, the company has a stop sign. I bought shares when the company had a stop sign, and they're getting current. They have not disclosed 2 annuals and 9 quarterly reports, and all of that is going to be put on the OTC markets. And just a side note, the day before the tweet came out that all the paperwork had been submitted, somebody dropped $24,000 in the ask. And my thinking was whoever was reviewing the papers on OTC markets dropped it. And the next day, what do you know? We hear that all the paperwork has been submitted. Now it just needs to be overviewed.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that because, I don't see any new financials for the company. But if that's in there, so it looks like last time was July of 2016. But that's good to know. That's good to know.
I'm sorry, I know I'm taking too much of your time. Two things I want to say is the website is INI Worldwide. You can call the 1-800 number, or you can chat with the employee there. The second website is Synovex.com, and you can see the products they sell. Synovex.com. I've looked at companies that are worth, billions of dollars, and this www.synovex.com has a better website than so many companies. You can chat with someone, you can call someone, and you can see the products they sell. 5 gallons of this product sells for $865. It's a nano coating, and literally you spray it on your house. It keeps your roof cooler. It helps reflect the light. There's so many benefits to it. I know I'm kind of sound like I'm pumping it.
No, go ahead. I appreciate you, bro, and thank you, Rich, for the call. AMMX and INTK. His tickers.
INTK is my main one. Mm-hmm. Only thing I'll say is if you buy it, don't go all in, guys. If it does have a pullback, I'm not selling it. You have to average down on these penny stocks. If a stock's worth $100, don't average down. But a stock that's already worthless and there's something behind it, average down on it. And two, I want to say is if you look at the L2, it is not going to show you true size and true bid. The market makers are NITE, NITE, and CSTI. They've been naked shorting it, and they've been the short interest has been increasing. But as soon as the buying pressure comes in, we're going to see a crazy squeeze on it. Obviously, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you to buy or whatever. Just a little heads up. But, do everything on your own risk. I am telling you guys, I'm up 200% on my investment, and I have not sold a single share.
Now, Rich, before you get off the line, give me a ticker right now that hasn't started running yet, but you like for the future. Because right now, both of these tickers are good, but we're getting in a little high. Give me a ticker and the audience a ticker that hasn't took off yet, but it's got potential.
Now no. It's got way more potential than CELZ. I'm going to tell you right now. Now, this stock trades very thinly, okay? It's called TSOI. Now, look at the 3-month daily, and you're going to see how fast it moves. TSOI, I'll explain it to you. This thing is going to move. It's going to be 10 cents plus.
Okay, TSOI. I'm looking at the monthly right now. Let's look at the weekly.
Go on the daily, please.
All right, let's go into the daily then. Okay.
So what's happening now is there's some big boys, a lot of people, that someone's trying to control this thing. And what this guy is doing is he has shares and he puts a very large ask up and he scares people into selling. In my opinion, if you get shares below a penny, guys, get a starter. If you get shares below a penny, trust me, you're golden. What the company does is they passed phase 1 trials in Mexico, and now they're going to move into United States because of the law that Trump signed for trials. I forgot the exact law, but they're trying to start the trials in. It's a bio stock. It's a medical stock. They have drugs that they sell, but they don't sell them in the United States. And they're doing trials. They passed phase 1 in Mexico. If you think CELZ was running, this stock's going to run. If you look at the volume, it's only had 1 day of more than 10 million volume. It's extremely low float. I think the float is 70 million. And this one, bid for shares, guys. Bid for shares. Get a starter, bid for shares. I promise you, in the next 2 to 3 months, this stock is going to go ham. And the second one is VSYM also. VSYM. Due diligence, I don't have too much to sell medical devices. Mm-hmm. VSYM, yesterday it had over 10 million in volume. Today it only had 2 million, but there was message VSYM.
There it is,
TSIO and VSYM. These two, I'll call back in 2 months and they'll be up big time.
There it is. Appreciate you, Rich. Thanks for calling, man.
Last thing, juicing, guys. Juice for health. Fruits and vegetables. No one got cancer from eating too many fruits and vegetables. Have a good one, guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. There's Rich for the call. 4 good tickers. I gotta admit, he let me know about the fact that I hung up on AMMX, but just because I felt like it wasn't ever going to take off. But it looks like AMMX got their act together, and things are looking a lot better for that ticker So gave us a lot of good tickers. We'll see what transpires. But he's right. Again, these are not day trades, right? You're not going to go into them and then sell on Friday. This is something as he ended the call, a month, 2 months, and you see what happens over that period of time. All right, do your research. Many of them I did see was that INOS was a stop sign, so it comes with risk, but it looks like the paperwork is in. That takes a little bit of time, so if it ends going current, boy, that's going to be a nice move for that particular stock. They got a Facebook page here too. I'll post in the chat room. Maybe you guys are interested in IONS and what they're doing. Looks like that Facebook page was updated recently. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, I started out in the OTC space, so always going to have love for it, especially for the companies that are actually out there really looking to, to generate, some shareholder value. All right, good call. Good call. What's going on, Bats? All right. Yeah, nothing wrong with juicing. Nothing wrong with juicing at all. Yeah, and he talked a little bit about international investors, and international investors make a crap load of money because the fact that they don't pay taxes on a lot of their gains. So if you're someone who is an American citizen and you kind of do what's his name, Peter, I forgot what's his name, the huge bear, the guy who called basically the thing. The guy ended up going to Puerto Rico. That's another thing. He probably didn't know. He probably knows about that, just didn't mention it. But just going to Puerto Rico helps you get out of that tax policy as well too. So a lot of Americans they just move to Puerto Rico and they don't have to pay tax. Peter Schiff, there it is. Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff went down and he just moved to Puerto Rico to avoid paying taxes. So that's a way for you not to have to give up your U.S. citizenship, not necessarily go to a foreign country, but I know Puerto Rico has their own issues as well. But they don't pay any taxes in Puerto Rico. All right. All right, so a few more tickers before we wrap up. Again, I just want to say, stay long to good stuff. Stay long to good stuff. Your Netflix, your Amazons. We had Kenny talk about going into some of these ETFs that are doing really well. I told you guys I got my old man in some of these like iBuy and some of these other ETFs that have been doing wonderfully over the last 2.5 years. They're up huge. What else? MU is one that I've been really disappointed about. I mean, I know that Chinese scandal was pretty hurtful. The Chinese government came out and basically froze their assets. I mean, basically said they couldn't sell their chips in China. Huge hit for them. But then the company came out and said it wasn't going to be that big of a part of their business. Stock was down today. I'm still watching it. I mean, this is a rejection of the 50 RSI. It's, and then I don't know how that's going to affect the MACD because I thought that was going to cross over. Should have brought it up yesterday, but I'm glad I didn't. But Micron is another one that I expected 2018 to be a lot better than what they were, because going into 2018, I just felt like they got left behind. This is 2018 right here. They got left behind. I mean, in terms of NVIDIA and some of the other companies in the space. 2018 started really good, and then they just couldn't figure it out. They just couldn't figure it out. And their earnings weren't that bad. So I don't know what's going on with MU, but great company, huge data center business, right? Huge data center business, but they just can't figure it out on the stock side. Bats, I hope you were pretty happy with what's going on with our Win selection. Win and Starbucks, we talked about it yesterday. Win, not so good, right? It took a pretty big hit today on Win. Hindsight is 2020, so we're going to be able to see in the next couple of weeks whether or not this was actually a pretty good entry for someone going in to Win, or the beginning of continued selling in Win stock. So Win lower, down almost 4 points today. But Starbucks, held its own today. I mean, Starbucks did pretty well today, holding its own. Sideways day for the most part. But, again, the stock has been doing really good over the last couple of days. Oversold. Great buying opportunity at some of those lower RSI levels you can see here. Again, when you're doing just sticking to the great companies and being able to find these companies that get into these momentary situations where they get oversold and you can pick up some really great stocks for dirt cheap. All right. Absolutely. COP, ConocoPhillips. Yeah, all the oil and gas plays got. We talked a little bit about there at the beginning of the show, the oil and gas plays. One stock that I also want to look at is Red Hat. Red Hat is an interesting play. I know I got some computer people in here. If I'm correct, they're more, Linux is open source, right? If I'm correct, Linux is open source, and many of the emerging technologies of the future, I think, are going to revolve around that OS, being that, again, you don't have to pay any fees to anyone else in regards to the usage of that. I know Red Hat is big into that space, right? Linux and kind of those operating areas. Again, I don't have too much knowledge of technology, but I know that things are changing at Red Hat. And look at some of the recent news that they've been putting out. And they've been doing some really exciting things in Asia. But when we're talking about open source technology, you can't talk open source without talking Red Hat. So look into that. These developing nations, they're going to be, playing a big part in technology and how it rolls out, and particularly into these economies that are having millions of people going into the middle class who are going to need products and services, and companies that want to provide them are going to use open source technology to generate those services. So look into Red Hat. And where we're sitting at right now is pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Here's the daily. Let's look at the weekly. Actually, let's look at the monthly. All right, looking at the monthly. So it was a strong pullback last month. So it looks like that was a really solid entry. And again, a stock that's been doing very, very, very well, 2017, 2018. But this is going to be a stock that we can look at, a couple months from now, as we're seeing riding that Keltner channel at the top of that channel and just riding it up higher, as we see in stocks like NVIDIA and Amazon and whatnot. All right. Maybe looking like this one day. We'll see. Maybe looking like this one day. All right. And NVIDIA is still looking real pretty too. NVIDIA is one that I'm really, really watching. I think we can get another discount on that, because I'm kind of surprised here. Is NVIDIA tapping out a little bit? Because when you look at NVIDIA, one thing I'm seeing a very interesting trend line on that RSI, particularly on the weekly. So we're seeing growing weakness going on in NVIDIA, at least on these longer term charts. You're also seeing a little bit on the short term when you go into the daily charts as well too. But this is not healthy. This is not showing a healthy. This is divergence is what it's called. So it looks like, we're going to have a correction, or possibly a correction in NVIDIA, but I'm hoping it happens, soon, because earnings is going to be a very impressive opportunity for individuals who go in on NVIDIA, because I think it's going to deliver a really nice number. All right. I know we're going through the tickers fast, but I'm trying to keep the show under an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys for watching. I will be back on Monday. So it's going to be Monday and Wednesday. I just kind of wanted to come yesterday. Just wanted to pop in here. But it's going to be a Monday and Wednesday, so we let things kind of develop in between the shows, so we kind of have more to discuss and be able to really stand back from some of these stocks and see where they're really going, instead of being really emotional and kind of tracking them day to day. I've found out that it's actually better just to kind of sit back and let things do their thing. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, don't hesitate to call me. I got one caller today. I appreciate two callers today. I appreciate you. Again, next episode will be Monday, same time, same place. You know where to find me. Press like on this video right now if you like it. Check out my latest scam busting report on a ticker by the name of MAGP. I mean, this was a complete fucking scam. The company doesn't have a working phone, no business operations, no nothing. Stock's up over 200%. The CEO is like 93 years old. He doesn't know what the hell's going on with the stock. And I exposed it all on advancedequityresearch.com. Really interesting article. Stocks being pumped by so many people on Twitter. Just a piece of shit. But it's running. So just had to expose it on the website. Pretty fun article. Check it out. All right? Until then, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Trade well.